Wow. Okay. That lighting does some interesting things. I'll figure it out eventually, I guess. Alrighty. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Somehow my schedule for the day ended up with the exercise routine sort of hitting right in the middle of where I should have been on here. Should have bumped things a little bit earlier in the day, but today is my first round of trying to do this Sunday Sundry, I guess I'll call it. It's the wrap up and build up for last week and the coming week. So I'm giving this a try out, sort of like explaining what my plans are, where we're going from here. And I have 5 videos this week for how to make a video without a camera and without having to show your face. I'm not sure how to phrase that one either. Because there are some people, like I know when I started doing my channels, I didn't want to be on camera. I'm not one of those people who was always comfortable in front of the camera or in front of an audience. I don't have a phobia or an issue with like I've done presentations on stages before, but somehow just being in front of a camera feels weird. It's the wrong mix of being alone and being in front of everybody. Like if I'm up in front of everybody, being able to interact with people makes it easier. But there's an ease of doing things that's more my style when I'm alone. But when you're on camera, you're not alone. You're in front of everybody, but you don't have the ability to do the interaction. So it's sort of, I think it's the harder part of both worlds for camera stuff. And so I know when I started, I didn't want to be in front of camera. But for this channel, I definitely have to be in front of the camera for what I'm doing here. And that's why I do it this way. I'm getting a little bit better at it. I need to organize my thoughts a little bit better and not be quite so rambly. But I don't mind. The situation for those videos, I have 5 of them. So I'm thinking I'm going to do them on a weekday. Saturday is the day I have to be somewhere else. I'm not allowed to be here for Saturday. Probably Sunday too. Not sure. We'll find that one out as we go. But so I'm thinking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be the uploads of the video without a camera series. I have sort of like the rough outline of a piece of software that I use for using screen capture still images and screen capture video, and how you can use those to make a slideshow. And from there, I can do a screen tutorial, screen capture kind of thing. So I have slideshow, screen capture, and then there's like a more detailed edited slideshow option. And then there's a type of animation that I can do. And there's one more that I can do in there that they're all don't need a camera, don't need to record that way. I will work on those and post those up during the week for the evening episodes. The The daytime episode is a board game review on Monday, so tomorrow, and then and then a views day on Tuesday, the creative prompts inspired by the board game on Wednesday. Thursday, I will be reviewing some of the projects that I've done during the course of the year so far. And then Friday should be a service online that I'm trying out. And then Saturday is the creative prompts inspired by this service that I use online. I'm pretty sure I know which one I'm doing, but I'm also starting another service test this week. I guess it'll be a future service video. And then, what is it? The other thing about this week is this is the last week of the, I guess we'll call it cardio endurance exercises. I'll give a more detailed summary of that process on on Saturday. No, it's not that one. Well, yeah, I can give a little more detail this week, but the full summary of that whole process doesn't really kick in. Well, yeah, that's the thing I'm kind of playing with right now is like I finish with the endurance cardio workout on the 17th. I start the keto diet on September 1st. And then Health Week is the 22nd to the 28th, where I end keto and start the weight training, I think. Maybe. I might do the explosive one first. At any rate, what we end up with there is that week will be a summary of the experiment with keto and the start of the new exercise routine. The current exercise routine, I think, needs to be summarized. Let's see. Each month I do a review of a health and fitness week. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing the second video of the fourth week this month will be sort of a summary roundup of what I've been doing with the pedaling stuff, because that's been interesting. That's been an interesting experience so far. I mean, the first time I did the fitness routine start that I started working on, that was a change. That was a surprising change, and I learned some things about exercise in my body. And then at the end of that, and the cardio diet, or no, not the cardio, the carbohydrate diet was something I summarized at the end of last month. And I started what I'm currently doing for exercise right now at that time. But it's been very interesting to see how that changes over the course of the time. And the only time to really discuss that is the health routine review category, I guess we would say. That one was, the fourth week second topic is health and well-being, and that's going to be the review of this one. So that should be, what's the date today and then? So this week is board game, product and service. The 19th is taste test. 23rd is the art, and then 26th is a video game, and then the 30th and 31st will be the review and ideas about the exercise that I've been doing lately. So that's where it's sort of lining up. So the end of the week, I'll just pretty much be done doing this exercise routine. I won't do much summary of it, other than maybe like, yay, I'm done with that, or just a brief comment about how at the end of this week, when I'm no longer doing this particular exercise routine, I'm debating whether or not when I hit the end of this week, whether or not I'm just going to cut that out and go back to the other exercise routine, or if I want to see if I can extend this a little bit further. Please stop adjusting the volume. I don't need you randomly adjusting the volume. I don't know why you do that. But what I'm going to try to do is, like with the previous exercise routine that I was doing, I still do every now and then on an off day, I'll do some of those just so I don't get out of practice. I noticed that was something that happened relatively quickly, was I took an off day and I was doing a couple of the exercises I did a couple weeks ago, almost 4 weeks ago, and I was not able to do as many as I did the last time I did this, and it took me a couple days of off days to get back into the, oh yeah, we can do this again. So I don't want to let any of that slide, but the other thing is, I feel like with that last one, I started out barely being able to do much of any of the exercises that I was working on. And then at the end of it, I tested myself to see the level to which I had improved. And so I did what would have been an unthinkable number of each exercise on a given day as a test. And I'm probably going to do that at the end of this week, maybe, to see where I'm at. But because I've been doing this for 4 weeks instead of like the previous 5 to 6 weeks of the last round of exercises, I feel like I might take a few more days to see if I can expand that capability. I might go an extra week or two. I'm not sure. So if I go to the end of this week where I will have done the 4 weeks, if I go all the way out to the 30th and 31st to extend my abilities, I kind of want to keep doing it just to see if I can get up to like an insane improvement over what I started out at, because I'm already seeing improvements in what I'm doing. Like the exercises I've been working on right now are pretty much just pedaling a bicycle. And I started and you just pedal, and like when you start to feel that like burn set into the muscles, take note of that time frame. And now I'm reaching a point where I'm many times as many minutes as what it took me for the first time. Like the first time, 1 minute in, I started to feel the burn, and I could push past it. I could do a little bit here or there, and then pause between each one and do multiple spins of a couple minutes. But eventually, I hit a point where I was just like, all right, so let's just see if we can just improve and upgrade and go faster and do better. And I finished I think the first week, I got to a point where I was doing a full 5 minutes, unresting, just pedaling. And I did that every hour for a day, and I noticed some distinct improvements, and I'm as far ahead of that now as I was on that second part of that first week, ahead of where I started before I even began doing this. So there's been some substantial improvements. And there's a part of me that really wants to see, like, can we keep upping our game? Can we get better and better every 4 to 6 days? And if we can, what does that better look like at the end of the month, on like the 30th and 31st? What does that look like? What will I be able to do then? And then ultimately, what I'll probably be doing is settling into a pattern of my regular, the exercise routine I did before this one and this one, alternating on days, at a medium level, not like see how hard you can push yourself, just a maintenance level at that point. And keto starts on the 1st and ends on the 28th. And then the next exercise routine starts on the 22nd. So I've got about 22 days from the end of the month where I am not doing a particular exercise routine. So I think I may just play with that a little bit. I will decide. The other thing about this exercise that I've been doing, the way I've been doing this is each day, every hour. And I'm not going to lie, it's a huge time suck to every hour stop and do something for 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes a pop. It consumes time. And the hard part for me on that is I could probably do more if I could set up a table over these pedals that I'm using and work on a laptop or do some reading or do something while I'm pedaling. That would be so much easier for me, I think. I need to figure out a way to make that maybe more viable. And unfortunately, this week's not going to be the week where I'm going to be able to do that, because I've got to run errands this week, so I won't have the time to necessarily spare the time to do things while working on that. And at the end of the week, I have to find another place to be for a couple days. So I can't set something up in here if I have to be out of here at the end of the week. So it's not the most convenient or helpful frame of doing things. I'm also trying to keep in mind, I don't want the alarm to go off and in the middle of this video. Got about 25 minutes left before it does. We should be good. Not a huge problem. So yeah, I want to see if I can I'm trying to decide if I end up going back to an alternating days of doing some of these things, it may help me a little bit. I may also see about changing up from going for every hour during the day to bunching them up really close together at the start and the end of the day, and maybe a little bit in the middle. So I'm not doing it all day long. I can just get like an hour, half an hour, and an hour in during the course of the day. And then I've taken care of it. I don't have to, worry about for the rest of that day whether or not I have to do these things at that time. Although there is sort of a part of me that wants to plan things in such a way that I can do a scheduled, every hour you stop and you do one set of exercises, and then on the half hour of every hour you do, say, the pedaling, and that gives you roughly about 20 minutes in between. Like if it's a 5 to 10 minute exercise routine on the hour, and then a 5 to 10 on the half hour, you're having about 20 minutes in between them to structure your time with. So every 20 minutes, you start working on a project, you take a break to do some exercise, you come back, you work on a project. That's supposed to be a really effective way to do work, learn new things, and get your exercise in. And I think I kind of want to see if I can do that, but we shall see. I may end up also doing some alterations to the fitness routine at the end of doing this. I may still try to do it because I have had, like I said earlier, I've had episodes of focusing on the biking for long enough that I haven't done any of the other exercises I did before, and I lost some of the ability that I had gained doing those because I hadn't done them in a week. And so starting back up, it wasn't like a full reset, but it was like, oh yeah, I lost some of that ability. I don't want to lose that. So once I finished with the pedaling, my regular routine and the pedaling may be something that I continue to do on top of what the next exercise routine is. But I sort of just want to see how effective the new routine is without, I mean, what effect am I looking for? It's not like I'm comparing weight loss or muscle gain from each of them. The regular routine that I was doing before was sort of just increase your functional fitness. This one's more about, can you do endurance work? And the next one will be a weightlifting or strength training, I think. And then the next one after that is explosive energy release. So jumping, punches, and that kind of stuff. So they're not directly measurable against each other as which one is more effective for such and such, because that's not their function. But I do want to see sort of how, I mean, if I keep going with the way I'm going, I'm going to be doing 4 to 5 hours of exercise by the end of the year every day. And I don't want to be doing that. There are other things I need to be doing with my time too. There's a possibility that I'll be able to work out a routine where on alternating days I will do the paired up body weight exercises I did the first round of exercise, and pair that with the pedaling and possibly the explosive energy, and then the alternating day is maybe the body weight stuff that I'm doing or the pedaling that I'm doing, plus the weight training that I'm doing. And so theoretically, at the end of all this, I will be putting together an exercise routine that is a good balance of all of these things. So I get a little bit of this every other day each week. And I already have some ideas of of other things that I may end up doing in the new year. I'm looking at some of that and I'm like, well, I've got strength, I've got power, I've got endurance, and I've got a base level of fitness. How about something along the lines of flexibility? And how about something along the lines of speed? Now, speed might be something I can try to throw in with the explosive because that's where that really comes from. There's endurance, and then there's speed, and then there's power. How much can you lift? How long can you last? And how much can you output right away? And so maybe that's what I'll probably be doing, like the speed and explosive energy on. Now, am I doing that this coming time frame? Do I want to do that in September, late September and October? Or do I want to do that in, so that would be end of November through to December 15th. Or no, end of 21st. December 21st would be the end of the last round of exercises. Do I do weight training or speed and explosive? I don't know. I'll have to figure that one out. But this week's videos, I'm also thinking about some of that, where this week's coming videos will be I have the 5 ones that I want to do for no camera video creation. I think the next round I may do a series of videos on how to create videos with a minimal camera, or other ways of shooting video that don't involve you sitting in front of a camera. So overhead shot at a workstation, a sort of a action slideshow of assembly instructions, stop motion, that kind of stuff, scenery with narration. So there are some things you can do with that, I think, and I'm sort of trying to build up a list of the next round. But this round was about 5 videos of how to make videos without a camera, and then also this week is the board game, which I found one recently that was like a mob takeover style board game, which I don't know anything about. So I think I'll just crack it open, take a look on camera, and see what I think about it, and then rate it, review it, and then come up with creative prompts for it. And then after that is a product or service. And now this time I'm playing around with a couple services online right now, trying them out. And one of them is one of the ones that I could potentially use in this video series this week of how to make videos without a camera. It's one of the options that exists out there. So I may use that one. I have to sign up for it. I think I have to pay a minimal fee for it. Or it might be, if I remember correctly, you might get 1 week free trial. So I may see about as much as I can do with that during the 1 week. Because I honestly don't think I'll be doing, I don't think I'll be using it enough to care to pay. They have a price range on them it's one of those things, it's a subscription thing that I'm always a little unhappy with the idea of. And maybe I'm just a software snob. But if you have a piece of software and I want to use that software, I should be able to just buy it. And I guess they do have looking here, I'm looking at it right now. They do have the option for you to buy this software that can help you make videos and stuff. You can pay $800 for it. I'm not going to ever buy a piece of software for $800. no piece of software that I can imagine, unless it's keeping me alive, is worth $800. There's a yearly plan you can sign up for. It's only $14 a month. At the end of the year, if you don't renew, you don't get to use it anymore. And it's yearly at $14 a month, but what you're really paying is $168 to use it for a year. And it's all charged at the outset. You don't get the option of paying $14 each month. You pay it all the way out. Or you can do a monthly plan where you do pay for only a month, but it's $35 for that month. Yeah, and that's sort of like it has some uses, and you've probably seen some videos or TED Talks or things like that that have used some of this stuff. Um, it's a very specialized, unique thing, and they get away with a price tag of 800 because the people who are using it are educators, college professors, and businesses. And honestly, more power to them. If they want to pay that tag for that, go for it. Uh, there have been a few people who actually make a living doing these. They buy the software for $800, and then they list themselves up on Fiverr, where you can pay them $5 to $30 to produce a video for you, and they make that money back like that. But that's not a business model I'm ever going to get into, and I don't need what it can do badly enough to want to do that. And I think, and this is just me being kind of brainstormy, but I think there are possible ways with some of the editing software that you can get out there for videos. So I use HitFilm Express, which is free, and I feel like with a little more know-how of how to use HitFilm, I can make something that does the equivalent of this. It's like a cheap knockoff version of this, but it's going to be free. It's going to take maybe 3 or 4 days of my time to work out everything I need to do to make it do it. And each time I make a video with it, it's going to require a little extra work to make it work. But it's not going to cost me $800. $800 by the end of the year, I can do a whole lot more with it than just pay for that suite of software. But that suite of software does have some interesting possibilities. And I'm going to potentially play with the free trial right now. I may look at some of their competitors. I've seen some of their competitors, they have cheaper monthly fees. I feel like there's got to be a better way to do that. And I'm really actually pretty surprised that nobody's come out with a cheap or free version of that yet. Like $20 software suite that does this on a cheap knockoff way. Buy this app, you can do all sorts of interesting things with it. I'm surprised nobody's done that yet. And there's got to be some sort of hurdle to being able to make it work that easily. I'm not sure what it is yet. I'll see if I can figure it out. But I do want to see what I can do with it in the meantime. And maybe use a little bit of use it, figure out how to take advantage of having used it to make it so that I will never need it again, because the things I would need to do it, I had for a week. I made some pre-recorded things that I can use to do the things I wanted to do with. So, I mean, that's for later in the week, I guess, where I'm going to have one of the episodes this week discuss this software. And I will have a rate and review of this software maybe in the future here at the what is it, the product and service for the week. So I will be using it for how to make a video without a camera for one of the episodes this week, probably third or fourth, and then I will do so that will be the rate, and the review will be the next day, and then the video of making videos with it will probably be Thursday or Friday too. So it'll show up twice this week, I think. But I'm debating whether or not I want to actually go with one of their competitors. I don't know that there are any really good competitors out there. They all have these weird subscription scam setups. I call them scams. They're not really scams. That's just the way some of these software companies are doing things now. So yeah, you can use our software. You just pay us $35 to $160 a month to use our software. I'm like, I'm never going to do that. There is no part of me that's ever going to do that. Like, if that's your model, I'm not interested in your software. Any company that's going to gouge people like that, I don't want to be a customer of. Like, maybe it's just because I'm a cranky old man at this point. I can remember a day when, there was shareware software, and you could download the software, and if you liked it and you wanted to support the company, you would support the company with a donation or something like that. There were softwares, even then, I could go to a software store and buy the CD, or even in the older days, the diskettes that you could use to load the software. Once you paid for it, you owned it. I get really angry at these service subscription BS stuff. There's no reason for it other than to just dig into everybody's pockets and make them pay you indefinitely. You've made the software. I guess to support customer service, I don't know. It just seems like the model they're using is just crazy these days. Make the software, be done with it, sell it. I don't understand why we've gone this way as a culture. It's well, I understand why. I'm just upset that we're doing that. Anyway, so that's this coming week. This past week was, yeah, I don't do Photoshop. I don't do what is the big Adobe Premiere or anything like that. Yeah, and I'm a little worried by some of my favorites because I've seen some of them start to look like they're headed in the direction of a subscription fee. I'm not super excited about that. Like, and some of them, like when they do an update, they disable the ability not to use the new version, and it's just like I don't want to fight about it anymore. And so I'm always super enthusiastic about supporting things like LibreOffice and a few of the other open access stuff that lets you play with it. I'm hopeful that the folks at HitFilm continue to be supportive of free users. I did see early on in HitFilm, and I will discuss like most of what I want to be able to use this week for my demonstration of videos without a camera. They're all for the most part, they're going to be free software, except for that one that has a subscription. That's the one that's really going to do it, and it's because all the programs that let you do what this program does, they've all gotten together at some point, I guess, and just said, we're going to charge a premium for this, and there aren't going to be free versions of it. I feel like it's past time. Like LMMS for music, Audacity for sound, HitFilm for video editing, LibreOffice for making slideshows, a free version of MS Paint, and document writing and spreadsheets. That gets you a lot of everything you need to be able to do for free. And that, things like LibreOffice and LMMS come from a community of people who believe in making the tools available to people. And I am an avid supporter of any company or organization that does that. But there's not anybody doing that for what this piece of software does. And I kind of want to see if I can figure out where are all the people that do this kind of stuff. Where are the people who made LMMM? I keep adding an extra M in there. LMMS. And where are the people who made LibreOffice? And can we figure out a way? There's got to be a way. Because I know, and this might spoil it a little bit, because I kind of want to keep it a secret until I do the video. But I know that when I went to the makerspace and I made my star puzzle coasters and tray, that I made them with the laser cutter, and the laser cutter did what this program does on the screen in front of me. It just never recorded it. And so my brain tells me there's a piece of software that informs a piece of hardware how to do exactly what this software does. There has got to be a way to do that as a piece of software that we can share for free. As a culture and as a society, I don't know that it's going to make a huge difference to have this piece of software. Like, I'm probably never going to use it past the week that I use for a free trial. That's fine. It's not so drastically important and special that I need a copy of it after this. I can get away with, like, I've gotten away without it now before now, and I'll get away with it without it afterwards. But I mean, like, when I took a artificial intelligence programming course online, you're like, yeah, you can get a discount on a subscription to MATLAB. And it's like, I looked into it and I was like, it's a discount, and that discount is still more than my food budget for a week. And you only have access to it for a month before you lose it again, and you can never use it. Like, why? No. And I did some looking around, and sure enough, the Linux open source software developer community out there said, we'll make a free version. People can download and use it, and they can support it through funding the help to design the program. Yeah. I really don't want to be, shush. I don't want to be doing another round of exercise. I'm kind of ready to be done tonight. But we got 3 more hours to do it. All right. I'll just be a little late this time, I guess. But yeah, so that's sort of what the plan is for this week. We finished off the week before with, we read a book. We did Incredibles. I can't even remember what book I read. It wasn't Peter Pan. That was last month, right? Oh, it was Selkies. I did really like that book. I liked that book a lot. And this past week was a writing week, and I worked on some stories and the outline of my science fiction universe. Oh, and that reminds me of the other thing I need to do going forward. And part of what I want to try to do each Sunday is talk about the plans and structure on which I'm going to work on videos on this channel. And some of that is down to, I sort of lost my train of thought there. Yep, I totally lost my train of thought. Total brain fart right there. Oh, building a website to post content for. Looking into the guy who did the book for The Martian, and a couple of other online installments posted. Like when I can't remember his name, Andy something, I think, right? When he published the Martian, his first round of doing that was chapter by chapter on his own website. And looking into that, there are people who only write work to be serialized and never published in book format. Some people have published their books as a serial story, like chapter by chapter, on a website, and then condensed it into finished work, redrafted it, and edited it, and then sold it as a book. And I think I'm going to try to do something similar, where if I do short stories like I'm working on right now, I could potentially publish a short story in pieces, maybe first part, middle part, end part each week. And then that would be one story. And then, another story and another story, and release them and post them on a website where it's my website, so I don't have to worry about who else has the rights to that content. And I should be able to self-publish the work after that. And maybe even sell the work to a publishing company. Same would go for things like board games and stuff like that. So there are a couple, and that's one of the other potential things I was looking at doing for a service this month, was looking at a couple of those web hosting and website building services. There's like Wix, and I think there was like Weebly. You can use WordPress on either of those, I think. And I did a little looking around and found like 4 or 5 other companies that let you build a website on them. So I may have to build a website for this channel. I think I did build one and for the Roving Jack channel, and then didn't do much with. So I need to work on figuring that out a little bit and get better at that. And once I've got that worked out, I'll keep appraised on Sundays. That's what Sundays are going to be for. Like summary of the week past, figuring out what comes next, and talking about building the website and the things to support the channel. So that'll be the Sunday videos. And Thursdays are going to be throwback Thursdays, looking at the projects we did during the course of the year. And Tuesdays is views days. And then all the other days during the week are rate and review or creative prompt. And there are 2 of each. So 4 days plus Sunday, views day, and throwback Thursday. So that's the 7-day week plan, at least as I'm going with right now. We shall see if I stick to it. Goodness knows there's a lot on my plate right now. So I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to go do more exercise. I'm kind of waiting for that time period where I don't have to do this every hour, every day. But I also kind of want to see if I can get even better than what I've gotten to already. It'll be interesting to see where I go in the future. Can't wait to share the whole thing with you. Being all cryptic and mysterious about it right now. So thanks for joining me. Take care and have a good night. does feel warm again. I'll have to check the weather, see what it's like.